welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and another puzzle from the Pedaling Pianist, who's on an absolute tear at the moment. It's sort of a Sudoku. It's called Russian Dolls, and it involves Latin squares. But we have to sort of find nested Latin squares in the grid, which I think sounds more complicated than I hope it will be. This has got 3 stars out of 5 on Logic Masters Germany, and lots of people have been recommending it to us. So the idea is, with a Latin square, that's basically like a Sudoku box. You can't repeat a digit in a Latin square. So if this was a Latin square, boom, then it would be, well, we could fill it like this. It's a bit like the Pedaling Pianist puzzle that we, not the Pedaling Pianist, the Analytical Ninja advent calendar that I did yesterday, which do check that out. Incredible, 25 puzzles in one Sudoku grid. Very, very amazing stuff. Anyway, so that's a Latin square because it's got the digits 1 to 3 in every row and every column. It's as simple as that. And there are 3 of these nested in this puzzle somewhere. I'll read the rules properly in a moment or two's time, but that seems to be the basic idea. And then anti-night constraint and some Kropke dots. And we'll have a look in a moment or two. But some things to mention first. Firstly, thank you if you joined us last night for our Chants of Sennaar stream, the 3rd edition. We didn't come a total cropper. We have advanced slightly. And that is good, and we'll be back either next Tuesday or Wednesday. Mark has to determine what his diary's doing. 10 o'clock UK time next week with the next instalment. Other news: we've got our Kickstarter going on, which is we're closing in actually on 2,000 backers. We're about 1,960 backers at the time that I record this, which is phenomenal. That's nearly 2,000 people who are getting a great puzzle-related Christmas present, which is brilliant. And we're also closing in on the next stretch goal. And at some point soon, we're going to be able to announce a Phistomefel Fog-Of-War going into that. I don't know, novel / Fog-Of-War Extravaganza that we're going to be making for you. So yeah, check it out if you haven't had a look at it already. Now, next news, over on Patreon, we've got a bit of tidying up to do for previous monthly rewards. So we didn't announce the winner of the trick or treat hunt, which was 2 months ago. So we've picked the winner this morning, and the winner is, drum roll please, don't have any special effects on Cracking the Cryptic, Emma Tierce. Emma Tierce, you have won. You've won the is it the Bobbins hat or just the CTC hat? It's some themed merch. I can't remember if it's got Bobbins on it or not. But Emma, you have won, and we will be in touch with you to find out where to send it. So congratulations on a huge win there. But on the first, by the way, there's going to be the Roll of Honour for that hunt at the end of this video. So even if you aren't in the Roll of Honour, you should watch the Roll of Honour just to listen to Kurt Hugo Schneider's amazing music, which, I mean, it is absolutely, everyone always loves it. I loved it the first time I ever heard it, and it's just gorgeous. So highly recommend it. But 2 days time is the 1st of December, and that means it's Patreon reward day for December's competition, and we've got this 100 puzzle extravaganza from the Skunk Works incoming. These are all snack dokus, so they only take a minute or two to solve, unless you get stuck, which I did the other day on one of them. It took me a little bit longer than 2 minutes to solve, but yeah, these are absolutely brilliant. And it's not intended to take all of your Christmas holiday to solve this one, so but it should give you plenty of smiles on the way. So that's coming 4 o'clock UK time on the 1st of December. And then I've got some birthdays to read out as well. I'm going to say a very happy birthday to Emma, who's turned 29 on the 29th of November. And I know this because your partner, I'm going to say Jeroen. Have I said that correctly? I hope I have. And Emma, I hope I have. And I hope you're getting chocolate cake today. And next to Johanna, I think. It could be Johanna. who's turned 38 over in, I want to say Weissenhorn. Is that in Bavaria, Weissenhorn? I think have I been there or seen it on a signpost or something? Anyway, if it is Bavaria, it's very beautiful. I love Bavaria. And Johanna, I'm going to go for Johanna, actually. I think it's more likely to be Johanna. You've turned 38, and I hope you have a brilliant birthday. Now, I'm going to get the pronunciation wrong on this one as well. This is for, I'm going to say Lasse. It could be Lasse, or it could be something else, because it's Swedish pronunciation, in which I am no expert, has turned 60 today. And I know this because your son Marcus wrote to us. And apparently you used to watch Cracking the Cryptic episodes while eating dinner together. But I think Marcus has gone off to university at the moment, somewhere in the south of Sweden. And so you see each other a bit less. But Marcus was very keen that we said a happy birthday to you today, Lasse. I hope I'm saying it right. And I hope you managed to find some chocolate cake too. And then finally to Mark, not our Mark, but this is a Mark in Rockville. I always say Maryland. I should never say that. Should I? It's Maryland or something. I never can say it. Maryland is how I should say it. Maryland, Rockville, Maryland. I can't get it out of my head that it looks like Maryland. Sorry. Anyway, Mark, you're there. You've turned 38, and I know this because your mum, who I think is based in Iowa, told us this. And when you visit her, apparently you make her watch the episodes with you, and you pause a lot to explain the logic. Well, that means you're being a good son. And Mark, many happy returns today. I hope you have a brilliant day over there in Maryland. Now, that all said and done, why is my phone there? I don't want my phone there. It'll buzz throughout the video. Let's put it over there. Let's have a look at the rules of Russian dolls and see what the Pedaling Pianist, who I'm convinced, I mean, the Pedaling Pianist is a new father. I do not know where the time is coming from for him to continue to construct puzzle after puzzle that just wow everybody. Right, these are the rules. In this puzzle, a Latin square is defined as an n by n grid of cells that contain only the digits 1 to n, where n is greater than 1. So the smallest Latin square we could have in this puzzle is a 2 by 2, in which digits do not repeat in a row or column. So if it was a 2 by 2, we would have something like that as a possible Latin square, I think. Now, this puzzle contains exactly 3 Latin squares, one within another within another. So they're nested, hence the title Russian Dolls. Anti-knight, cells a knight's move apart in chess may not contain the same digit. So this is the classic knight's move. So imagine this is a 1. That would mean, oh, it's weird doing this without boxes. None of those squares could contain a 1. Because if we were to put a 1 in any of these squares, you can see, let's try that one. These are a chess knight's move apart. And not even Magnus Carlsen would get away with that in this puzzle. So don't do it. You'll get the puzzle wrong. And then crop key. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. We've got a couple of white crop key dots. So if this was 2, this would have to be 1 or 3 to be consecutive with it. And digits separated by a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio, which basically means 1 is double the other. So if this was 2, this could be 1, because 1 is half of 2, or it could be 4, because 4 is double 2. But basically make sure one of the digits is double the other, and you will get the puzzle right. And that is all. That is all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, actually, as I was putting the example, the 3x3 example, in the grid, I realised something, which is, I think, well, no. Do I tell you my hunch or not? I will tell you it, but you're not allowed to accuse me of being stupid if this turns out to be wrong. I think this might be going in the direction of a 2x2 into a 4x4 into an 8x8. This is an 8x8 grid. Now, the reason I think it might be going in that direction is when we did the 3x3 example, I found myself thinking, how do I grow that example? I mean, let's obviously all these cells. If this was a Latin square, all these square cells are from 1, 2, and 3. Now, if we grow this Latin square very slightly and make it a 4 by 4, you can see that there's an enormous problem now with these squares and these squares. They all have to be 4s to make these each of these have a 4 in. And in fact, I now realise, if we make it 5 by 5, that's no good either, is it? It's no good. It's no good, because if we make it 5 by 5, we get exactly the same problems here. These squares have to be from 4s and 5s. And this row is broken now, because we haven't got 3 different options for those cells. We've not got 3 different options for those cells. We've only got 2 different options. Right. So 248 is now feeling far more likely, because it now feels to me, and I think this is probably right, that we have to double. So if we have a 3 by 3 Latin square, and we're going to nest it, then we cannot do that without doubling the size of the Latin square. So we could go 6. Oh, hang on. Well, we could go 6 by 6. Let's go 6 by 6 like that. And that would work, because this would be our nested 3 by 3. Well, it wouldn't. Well, no. The way it works is that then you make all of these squares 4s, 5s, and 6s, and yeah, and then these would have to be from 1, 2, and 3 again. But the problem with this is it's a bit like a black Kropki dot problem. So what we've worked out, if one of the nested Russian doll Latin squares was size 3, the next smallest Latin square could not be a 1.5 size Latin square, and we're told in the instructions that Latin squares have to be at least of size 2, basically. So we have to grow to size 6 for our next nested square, and then the one above that is going to be a size 12 Latin square, by this sort of principle we're establishing about how you've got to have enough spare digits to fill the remaining columns and rows. So the only way this can work is 248, isn't it? That's the only way it can work, because we always have to double the size of our squares. And that's why this is an 8 by 8 grid. So in fact, the biggest Latin square fills the whole grid. Maybe that was completely and utterly obvious from even... Is that just... I've got a horrible feeling I'm just meant to have... because how would you fill in the rest? If it had been 3, 5, 7, say, as the size of our... as the size of the Latin squares that we were discovering, then there would have been a 7 by 7 grid in the 8 by 8 grid. And maybe you wouldn't have ever known what to put in the spare row and column. I don't know. I have a horrible feeling I'm meant to have perhaps worked backwards down to 2. But anyway, I've worked upwards. So somewhere in this grid there is a trivial Latin square, in the sense that there is a Latin square that looks like that is nested within a 4 by 4 Latin square, which, right, now that's fine, isn't it? I was just trying to think about, does the nesting have to be, does it have to sort of circle it like that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I mean, if that was our 4 by 4, you can see you get 1s and 2s in the corners of that, and then you get 3s and 4s in the gaps. That looks quite nice, actually. Right, sorry, let me just... I just want to have a think about this for a second or two. try and understand what else is going on. So the other options would be that if it's not totally nested, then this has got to form a corner, hasn't it? We don't know which corner, but it has to form a corner. So this would be the Latin square, or some variation, for example, that could be a Latin square as well, but this would always form a corner. Well, that definitely wouldn't work in this in here, because though that black dot's broken, but we can ignore that. Now, right, okay. I did wonder about that rule in the instructions again. The Pedaling Pianist rarely gives anything away, but this puzzle contains exactly 3 Latin squares. So we can't, right, so you can't put it in the corner of the Latin. Oh, hang on, I've thought of something, another place we might be able to put it. Other than the corner, we might be able to put it there, rather than actually have it nesting. But I've worked out it doesn't go here. It doesn't go here, because if it went here, sort of by Latin square rather than Sudoku, you get that pattern, don't you? And that's another Latin square. You've got a 2x2 there and a 2x2 there. And that's not allowed according to the rules. In which, hang on, let me just have another think. I was then worried about, well, hang on, could this be the second Latin? So could we have 1, 2, and that be the third Latin square? But I don't think that does accord to the rules, because, well, it certainly doesn't accord to the theme of the title, which is Russian dolls, but also it does say one within another, and this would not be within that one. So that would be a separate Latin square, and I don't think that that is allowed. Puzzle contains exactly 3 Latin squares. That's how I read the instructions anyway. I hope that's right. But anyway, I've had another thought. Let's try, what about that as a Latin square? Now, does that break any rules? You see, it doesn't really, because it's like a torus, isn't it? Now you have to put the 1s and 2s there. And if this was toroidal, these would join up. And, you know, if we imagined that it was folding in a around a tube, these 1, 2s would touch each other and become a Latin square on a tube. But Pedaling Pianist doesn't rule that out, so that's probably okay. So we get that pattern. So that's also possible, and that's very annoying. So we don't know. I thought we were going to be able to basically conclude that this the middle of the grid was the Latin, the 2x2 Latin square, and then we were going to have a 4x4 around that, and then an 8x8 for the whole grid. But unless there is a way that I can rule this out, I definitely can't assume that. This is not, I'm going to tell you this is not perhaps unsurprising. Well, no, it's not for that reason. It's also not because that would break. Because everything in the column... of course. This is really clever. It's really clever. Okay, right, here's another thought. Somewhere bouncing around in this grid is a 4x4 Latin square that contains the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4 in all its rows and all its columns. And so wherever we position that, we can never position it anywhere where the cell, where it overlaps with this domino or this domino or this domino. When I say overlaps, that's not exactly what I mean. What I mean is, imagine I move this a bit to the right and put it here. That can't be true. Because if we move this 4x4 here, what digits do we have to put in that domino? Well, given that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, these digits would be from 5, 6, 7 and 8. And one of those is never going to be double the other. But the same is true if I put it underneath this one, or alongside this one, or alongside this one. So I can't shift it to there, for example, because this would have to be from 5, 6, 7 or 8. Right, I think I've got to get rid of this. Sorry, it feels like we're making negative progress, but oh, that's beautiful. Right, here's another thought. It's related to the 2 by 2 one. Right, I was quite keen for a moment on this being my Latin square. This being my 4 by 4 Latin square. Because that doesn't cause me a problem with this, and it doesn't quite cause me a problem with this. Because this could be 5, 6, 7 or 8, but on a black dot that could be 6 or 8, and that could be 3 or 4, and it would be okay. But it does give me a problem with this this thingy. The most descriptive. Not the most descriptive thing I've ever said on the show. It gives me a big problem with the thingy, and that is that well, these squares have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, don't they? Because these are going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. And then to complete this row, obviously these are going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4 in rows 1, 2, 3 and 4. And that's another Latin square. So this is wrong. Okay, so this is wrong. And that's so if we move this up 1, that's wrong because this is from 5, 6, 7 and 8. If we move it up 2, that's still wrong. If we move it up 3, that's still wrong. And if we move it up 4, that's wrong. So I don't think, might be wrong, but I don't think that the Latin square, the 4 by 4 Latin square, starts anywhere in this column. That's right. Well, that's right if I've understood the puzzle. So let's delete all of these are not Latin square. They are not allowed to be on the Latin square, the 4 by 4 Latin square. Now, I think we can do something similar in row 1 because I can't. I mean, this is impossible because that would be from 5, 6, 7 and 8. That's starting it there is impossible. Starting it there is bobbins. That might be possible. I don't know. Thought it might break that one, but no. Okay, so hang on. It doesn't start here. And it doesn't start here. And it can't start there, because again, this would be from 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm doing this in a very... yeah, in fact, now it's very cool. The whole of this column comes out. Because wherever I put it in this column, look at that. It will overlap with this black dot. Wherever you put it, it doesn't matter. And that cannot be, these cannot be selected from 5, 6, 7 and 8. So I think we just take all of those out. Now that's going to apply for this cell. And this cell. And this cell, and this cell, and this, nowhere. There's no way it can be in that column now. So I think I'm about to prove it can't be anywhere in the grid, and we're going to have to start again. It can't be here, because, again, that would be from 5, 6, 7, and 8. It can't be there. That would be from 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's nowhere in the bottom row. It's nowhere here. That's impossible. Again, everything's going to give me a problem with this one. It can't be there, it can't be there for exactly the same reason. Now, it might be able to be there. That is at least That gives me hope that we haven't broken the puzzle, that that's maybe possible. It can't be anywhere in this column until it overlaps with this. So these two are impossible. That's impossible. This is now not a 4x4 shape. So all of these come out. So there's two. There's two possibilities. It is either... Oh no, there's one possibility. Oh, that's beautiful. It can't be here for the same reason it couldn't be there. If it goes there, if we say that's 1, 2, 3 and 4, then this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's wrong. So it goes here is what I'm going to believe. Let's make that green. These are not in. So this is a one. This is, look, we're going to go proper good lift on this. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now that's no. Okay, you can't put 3 on that because it would need a 6. And everything else here is 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. I don't know if I want to do this actually. 5, 6, 7, 8, not 9, but you know what I mean. So all of these have to be green as well, and we've got our torus going on in the sense that those are 1, 2s, 3s and 4s. No, that's still got options. Sorry, I thought maybe I could use this black dot to help me. This can't be 1, that's true, and it can't be 2, but it could be 3 or 4, and then that's going to make this 6 or 8. How's this ever going to actually disambiguate? Oh, we have got a knight's move as well, haven't we? That one is this. That one's this one and this one are the inverse type ideas, aren't they? So this has got to be 3 or 4. That's got to be 6 or 8. Have we got any more? Yes, there's another one there. In fact, here is another thought. No, it's not even a sensible thought. It's wrong. That digit is more potent. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to look at this digit. I thought I could do it that digit, I can't. I'm going to look at this digit. So this digit, let's make it orange for a moment. That has to make an appearance in this column, doesn't it? But by knight's move, it can't be there or there, and it can't be here by straightforward Latin square. So that digit is the same as that digit. And that's really nice, because that's a 3 or a 4. So this is a 3-4 pair, which means this is a 1-2 pair. Now that digit now can't go in those two squares by knight's move and sort of Sudoku-y Latin square thing. So this is... So that's also sort of done something similar. So, it still doesn't give me that digit. I know these two digits are the same. No, sorry, I'm not seeing how to do that. Oh, I've got the other Latin squarey thing to figure out, haven't I? Oh, this is great. Well, it's not necessarily great, but it's certainly interesting. So there is a 1-2 square of digits somewhere in here. Yes, and we worked out they couldn't go in the corners, could they? So the 1-2 pairs are not in the corners. I mean, that couldn't be a 1-2 pair. That couldn't be a 1-2 pair. That could have been, and that could have been. But we know if we put the 1-2 pair here, so if we make this 1, 1, 2, 2, then this is a second Latin square up here. It would have to be, from the mechanics of sort of the 4x4 box. So what's the way to do this? So hang on, maybe we get rid of the orange thing for a moment. None of these squares are in, none of those squares can be in the 2x2. Now, what do we work out? Well, this one can't be now, because it's got a 3 or a 4 in it. So it is, so it's a nested one. It's either that one, it's not this one, that's got a 3 or a 4 in it. In fact, it's not that one. This 3 or 4 here is breaking both of those options. That 3 and 4 breaks that option. It's that one. That's the only one left. That is absolutely ridiculous that you can work that out. That is literally uniquely the only way that you can fill this. So oh, I don't really like that colour. I'm going to make that orange actually. I like the orange against the green. So this, well, this is basically the magic. Look, we can use the pen tool to try and delineate this. Let's do that. So that's the first one. That's the second one. And then there's one that goes all around the grid. I should probably have made that one that goes all around the grid red or something, so it was a bit clearer. But that's great, because now this is the 1-2 pair. So this is not 1-2. So, oh, look, that's now we get a digit. Is that our first digit? We get a 4 here. So that's a 2 by black dot logic. So those two are both 1, and we get all of that filled in. That 2 sees that by night move, so we get those filled in. We've got to put a 2 into this column. We've got to put a 1 into this column, so the 3 can't repeat. So the 3, 4, 4, 3, 4 sees that one. Look, it just fills itself in. Is this going to continue? Oh, this would be absolutely marvellous if it does. That's a 6, that's an 8. Hang on, let's delete a load of stuff now that can come out. We can probably... actually, I'm not sure. Oh, hang on. There's a white dot here. I didn't even think to start looking at white dots, but look, how do you do these two? They've got to be consecutive. So that's got to be 4, that's got to be 5. Oh, those don't work as well, though. Okay, but now we can get rid of 5 from all of these. Something makes me want to delete 5s from all of this, as if this is a sort of Sudoku box, but I suppose that's probably not a good idea. That can't be 2 by the knight's move, or 3 by the knight's move, so that's 1. Now, hang on. Yeah, I can do this. I can now view this as toroidal, because this 1 is in this row of the 8 by 8 Latin square. So those are not 1s, these are not 4s. And that 2 is knocking a 2 out of that, and that 4 is knocking a 4 out of that. That 3 doesn't quite reach across. Well, there's a 3-4 pair there, though, now. If that's right. Okay, so that's got to be a 2. So that takes 2 out of all of these. It still doesn't feel like it's very light. Well, 2 in this row we can get now. That's got to go there. 2 now can't go in any of those squares in the bottom row, so it's got to go there. We don't get a 3 in the corner. Not that I was expecting one. Hang on, I want to take 2 out of all of these. I want to take 3 out of all of these. That 2 sees that one, so that's got to be a 2. You get this sort of diagonal thing going on. Yeah, because that is exactly what... Is that going... No. Well, sort of. I'm not sure. There are 2s and 1s going diagonally, 3s and 4s going diagonally. There's something diagonally going on. Okay. So what do we do now is a good question. This digit has to make an appearance in the bottom row. It can't go there by Sudoku, and it can't go here by knight's move, so it goes there. So these two are the same. I don't know if that's in any way worth recording, but I will. That can't be a 4, because it would knock 4 out of both of those, so that must be a 1. That must be a 4. Oh. Okay, so 4 has to go here now in the bottom row. 4 can't go here, so that's 4, that's 3. Oh, we're going to get a deadly pattern. I do not like that at all. That feels wrong, doesn't it? How is that getting resolved? Can I... No, that can't. I think I've made an error. I can't. I mean, that's going to be an 8. I can see that. How is that getting resolved? I don't know. It's not going to be something like I mustn't form a Latin square over here, is it? I don't feel like it's... No, I mean, if that was... You can nearly get a 2 by 2 Latin square there, but that being a 3, no. Oh, yeah, no, it is. Good grief, that's horrible. That is horrible. Pedaling Pianist, you naughty fellow. That is a horrible step. I was looking at this, but look, that one. If that was a 1, that would be a 2 by 2. And it would be it would be a third Latin square in the puzzle. Is that really how I meant to do that? I couldn't see how I was ever going to disambiguate this. But I'm sort of relieved that exists as a point. So that forces this. Now let's actually take a much closer look at this. I can't see another 2 by 2 Latin square. Okay, so that gets rid of 8s from these. Okay. So again, we can use this sort of idea around where 8 is in this row. It's knocked out of these by the knight's move, so it has to go there. So it's not here. It's not... Oh, it was never able to be there. The 5 knocks out of that one, so in the column the 5 can go there. That's on a dot, so that's got to be next to 6. That 6 takes care of that one, so that forces that pattern. This is now a 7, that's an 8, that's the 8 in that row, that's a 6. Okay, so Sudoku is suddenly being very kind to us. Now I don't want, I'm going to get it, aren't I? I'm going to get another of these deadly patterns. Oh no, how does this one resolve? I don't know. It's going to be something to do with... I don't know actually. 6 comes out of those because of this 6. That digit is the same as that digit. Is that somehow useful? This 8 can't go there by knight's move, can't go there by knight's move. The 6, no, the 8, is it reaching up somehow? That digit is looking into those 2 squares. Or is there a black dot I've not used? Or a white dot I've not used? Not sure. Again, I've got a horrible feeling I've managed to construct a deadly pattern here in a way that's most unhelpful. Ah, that square actually is a 6. Because if it wasn't a 6, if it was 5, 7 or 8, it would knock that digit out of the top row, wouldn't it? So that is a 6. That's a strange one. So that's not a 6. We definitely... So I wonder if in the... No, it's not even true what I was about to say, so I'm not going to say it now. Maybe we have to colour. Because that digit is now not the same as these 2, so these 2 are the same. Those 2 are the same digit. So hopefully you can see that. What I'm saying is, let's get rid of that blue shading there. Whatever this is, it sees both of those sets. So if this is 5, these would both be 7, so they must both be the same. And that digit, look, knocks itself out of there. So in this row, that digit is the red digit. So that's a 5 or a 7, and now we've got a 5-7 pair in this row. So these squares, now this is 6, and that's 8. Right. Does that do something marvellous for us? Where's 6 in this row? Yeah, that's got to be here now. So we've done the 6s at the top of the grid. That digit is the same as that digit, isn't it? So that is a blue digit. These are therefore going to be red digits. This is odd though. This is odd. I don't like this again. Oh, please. Well, no, that is a blue digit. We can see that because it can't be red because of this. So this is an 8. This is an 8. You can see where this is going, and I don't think this is a good place for it to go. Red's got to be there in the corner, and all of these have to be blue. But I have to disambiguate this pattern. The 5. Oh, thank goodness for that. The 5 does it. Look, sorry, I just didn't see it. The 5 looks in there. So blue is 7. Oh, that didn't work. Ah! No, I didn't mean to do that. I want to just highlight the blue thingy. Oh, it won't let me. I don't know why. Let's highlight all of those and call those 7s. And now we can highlight all of these and call these 5s. And that, I think, is the way to solve the puzzle. Let's see if it... Yes, it did know I was correct as well. It said the solution is correct, so that's a relief. 35 people, not that many in 5 days. That's brilliant. It's quite brilliant, and it's a great example of what the Pedaling Pianist is all about. Just a remarkably interesting mind the Pedaling Pianist possesses. And that was... It was Sudoku, it very much was, but it was sort of quite fascinating, wasn't it? It was really, really interesting puzzle. Love it. Absolutely loved it. Let me know in the comments if you had a go on how you went about it. Whether you worried the same way as I did about this. There might have been another way of doing that. I'm not sure. But I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.